Hey everyone, it's Eva. So this episode was supposed to go out on Monday. It's now Wednesday. I mean, really, who cares? You're going to get an episode, a different one for next Monday. I promise. So in the meantime, just enjoy this chaotic mess as we catch up on the last couple of months of my life. So thank you for sticking by me. And enjoy. Love you guys. Mwah. Bye. Hey everyone. Welcome back. Or welcome to Is This Thing On? How's it going, guys? It's been a wild 3 months. I'm not even going to sit here and say sorry for being MIA because genuinely a lot of stuff did happen in my life. I'm currently recording this on a Wednesday at 11:24 in the afternoon. And I'm just sitting here on my balcony, taking in some nature, crying a little bit, and doing some self-reflection on the last couple of weeks and months of my life. And a lot has changed, you guys, for the good and for the bad. And I just want to dive into it all because, man, life can be pretty crazy sometimes. So grab some popcorn, grab a snack, grab your coffee or your matcha or your tea or coffee matcha tea drink, as I made one this morning, and let's catch up. Let's catch up. 2 old friends just sitting here recording this on her phone. And hopefully this episode, because I have been delaying when I'm going to post podcast episode. I had many opportunities to just sit down and talk to you guys about what's been going on with my life. But I really wanted to make sure that I was in the right headspace and at the right time. And, well, there's no time like the present. So might as well just say what's on my mind and take you guys along for the journey. So let's get started with this episode. So, man, I have missed y'all. I have missed this platform. I have missed just getting to talk to you guys and catch up like old friends. I feel like that was always the intent and the purpose around my podcast, is that I wanted to make it a platform where I am free to talk as is about my life, about anything I'm going through, and be perfectly relatable and candid and just unapologetically myself. And a lot has changed, and I'm just going to dive into it. So first of all, I had mentioned maybe a few minutes ago that I am now sitting in my balcony outside. And if you hear a lot of birds, well, it's because I'm outside. Hello. And I just love little birds, little sparrows making their little noises. Anyways, as I mentioned, you're probably wondering, Eva, why are you sitting outside on your balcony? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I took a very big grown-up step with one of my close friends, and I moved out. I officially have my own place. I think I've been here just shy of a month. I want to say it's a month. I got the apartment on May 27th, but didn't really move in / started living here probably until like the first week of June, I would say. And now we're rearing the end of June. In just 2 days, it'll be July, I think. Today's the 29th. We have 30th, 30. Is there 31 days in July? Let me check really quick. Give me 1 second. Oh, no. There's only 30 days in July. Okay. June. I'm sorry. June. Not July. So yeah, I've been living here about just shy of a month. I don't think it was ever a secret that I was going to move out. But I did, like most, 20-something-year-olds or however old you are when you decide to take a big step in life and move out of your parents' place. I did prolong it for a while. I was quite hesitant, to be honest with you. Even though my home life situation wasn't great, I had always told my parents, I'm tired of y'all, I'm going to move out. And my parents were like, good luck with that. Good luck paying bills. Good luck doing this. Good luck doing that. And about a year ago, I've talked about my current job now, which is that I'm a teacher. You had told me a year ago to move out, I don't think I would have done it. And it really, really took, some things that happened in my home life for me to finally start the moving out process. And so I had actually been talking about moving out with my roommate, who's one of my good friends. Shout out to Lily if she's listening to this and to this podcast episode. You're the best person I could have done this with, so I'm grateful to her. But I kept putting this off for a long time because the number one thing that plagued my mind when moving out, and I think as most people come to find that, you can't really do anything without money and finances. And, most people would suggest, well, save up, have money saved up. That was not the case for me. I'm very, very grateful that I have a good job now in my life. It's a good, stable job. It pays decently well. And, I didn't save up any money. I just got what I make from my paychecks and decided to put a down payment and move out and just do this thing. And I was just going to figure it out regardless of how it came about. And that's kind of sort of what I did. But me and my roommate had already been talking for several months. I want to say the earliest conversation we had about taking this seriously and moving out, I think was probably back in February or March of this year. Last year we had kind of joked around how, wouldn't it be so cool, funny if we moved out. And, we're very compatible as friends. Me and my roommate, we get along very well. Our personalities meld pretty well together, and so it was never really a question of I'm not moving in or I'm not moving out with you. It was very much okay, we're gonna move out. When and how are we doing this? And so I think the most serious and earliest conversation that I can think of, drawing back to when we were considering moving out, was back in March. And that's when we sat down and, we kind of went over things. But we really didn't start taking it seriously probably up until May or April of this year. We, we went out as we normally do. And we finally sat down. We wrote down everything we needed to get for an apartment. And honestly, we were just focusing on essentials at the moment because let me tell you, y'all, you do not need a ton of stuff to move out into an apartment. I mean, you do, but you also don't. And if I had to give any sort of advice almost a month into living by myself, and being out on my own, I would say just buy the stuff that is essential. Just buy the bare necessities. Don't go overboard. Figure out who buys what, or split the cost. I find that if you have a roommate, you're doing this thing together. So just, take the time to crunch the numbers and figure out what it is you want to buy first. Make a list of it, and even categorize it by departments. That sounds weird, but when we were making a list of the stuff we were going to get for the apartment, we categorized it by, okay, this is kitchen stuff, this is bathroom stuff, this is living room stuff, and that really, really helped us a lot. And then after we did that list, we kind of went back and we were like, wait, we forgot to add this, or wait, we forgot to add that. And so it'll naturally unfold once you get all the essential stuff. I think you'll still think of things that you may want to get, but if it's not absolutely essential, right? I mean, if you're willing to splurge the extra money, I guess go ahead and get it. But if it's not absolutely essential, I recommend holding off on it until there's a better time and place to spend that money. Man, boy, have I had to be militant about the way I spent my money now that I have obligations and bills that I need to pay. And I knew that moving out I was going to have to do that anyways, but the pressure to do all this stuff as an adult, man, it really, really, really kicks in. And you don't think about what you used to spend until you're spending that money. And then it becomes very real that you need to prioritize some things over others. So if that means no more lattes, or, maybe hold off on something you were doing for a while until, time is better, then so be it. I think with everything, you need to be responsible, but especially once you're trying to make a life for yourself and be on your own, I think you need to start being very cognizant and very weary of how you spend your money and your time getting things. But anyways, that was all the boring stuff. And so, it was so funny how it came about, my current apartment thing. I was just driving down one night with one of my friends and came across this place, and I called them, and within the next day I started doing the application process, and then I mentioned it to my current roommate, and she thought it was pretty good. And when you're looking for an apartment, I guess be very clear about what it is you want in an apartment. And the main things that I looked at when getting an apartment is, I like to look at square footage. I know a lot of people don't normally do that, but I think square footage is important for what you're paying. And if you're getting basically a shoebox and you're paying triple the amount, I mean, you're just getting ripped off. The apartment that I live in right now, it's an old apartment. It's been remodeled, but it's huge. I'm very blessed that me and my roommate got such a good deal and such a big apartment on our first try, because I mean, as we know, our country is going to go through another economic recession, and rent is just skyrocketing right now. Real estate, stocks, investments, our taxes, everything is inflating. Everything is just going up. Inflation is just so high right now, and we were really blessed to have found this place when we did, and the rent is right for the amount of square footage and for all the amenities we're getting. The only thing this apartment doesn't have that I wish it did have it was an in-unit washer and dryer. But other than that, I'm pretty comfortable. I'm pretty happy with the space that we live in. I think we got a pretty good deal. We did a lot of research before, and looked around different areas and different cities and where we live, and everything else was overpriced and less square footage. And I feel like we got a pretty sweet deal. So very, very happy where I live. It's kind of central to the town that I grew up living in, so everything is within super close walking distance. The grocery stores are like 2 feet from me, so I can go get groceries anytime, and it's nice. It's very, very convenient to have that. I think that's another thing, like when you are looking for a house or an apartment, I think especially with the rate of gas and how awful it's gone up. You want to look at where are you getting the most bang for your buck. Like, is there shopping centers nearby? Is there a grocery store? If you have kids, where's the nearest school district? Where's the nearest schools? Where's the nearest library? Things like that to keep in mind. And then also just where is the property that you're looking at zoned, because based upon that, if it's a more metropolitan area, typically your taxes and your real estate and your rent is going to be higher. If it's out in the countryside and it's a little bit isolated from everything else, your rent might be cheaper and all that. So that was things to keep in mind when looking for a property. Right now is truly the worst time to buy a house and or find an apartment to rent, because everything is going up. I may not live in New York City, but man, it must suck to be a New Yorker right now, because some of these apartments are literally garbage and they're getting triple the amount. Landlords are raising the prices to triple the amount of what it was before. So just if there's another piece of advice I could offer when looking for a property and before you're gonna sign your lease and all that stuff, is really read through the leasing agreement and look at all the stuff and make sure your landlord or your property manager or your whoever it is that owns the property is not trying to lowball you or throw anything shady at you. So really read through those contracts. I thought my rent was a certain amount, and turns out it wasn't. So it was a little bit more than what I had anticipated, but it's okay because we were able to get it fixed and everything's all good now. But just make sure you really read through your stuff and know what you're getting yourself into when renting an apartment or buying a house or any sort of big commitment like that. We signed our lease for a year, which I think is enough right now. I don't know what we would do after a year. Probably, obviously, move out. You know. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Hopefully our rent doesn't go up, because even though we don't live in New York City or a big city, everything is just, it's kind of like a ripple effect. Everything is going up right now, and just everything's kind of going into smithereens. So just be smart, you guys. I mean, really, really, really do your research when it comes to this stuff. So yeah, I got my own apartment. How do I feel? I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think I would have this much anxiety when I moved out. I was telling my roommate, it's going to sound kind of funny, but for the last couple of weeks that we've been living here, I got the bigger bedroom because she wanted the bathroom with the bathtub. So each of us has our own bedroom and our own bathrooms. That was the big thing that we wanted when we got an apartment. We wanted a two bedroom, 2 bath. So each of us could have our own separate things. So the compromise was she was going to get the bigger bathroom with the bathtub, and I was perfectly fine with my smaller bathroom and just a shower. But I did end up getting the master bedroom, which worked out in my favor because, as it turns out, I have way more stuff than my roommate. And so I'm finding that I'm going to have to go and buy more storage bins soon so I could store all my stuff, because as I've come to find out, I am a pack rat and I have a lot of clothes and a lot of stuff. And so we're still a month in figuring out how to store all that, but I'm glad I got the bigger bedroom. However, for a while, I was not able to sleep in my own bed. I would walk into my room and I would feel this massive anxiety going in. It's like the energy felt very heavy in my room. And so I had kind of convinced myself that my apartment was haunted, or at least my room was, because the energy felt very heavy. I went the night that I did sleep in that room, in my room, I had my phone out, and you scroll on your phone right before going to bed, as one does. We've all done it. And I had laid my phone down on my dresser because I was about to fall asleep. And so I do this, and then I wake up and come to find out that my phone was moved to my side, and it was on my bed, even though I remember that I had put it on my dresser. So after that, I got freaked out. And maybe it could have been that maybe in the middle of the night I woke up and I moved it myself. That very well could have been the case. But it didn't occur to me to see it that way. Which, I should have just logically thought, hey, you got up in the middle of the night and you moved your phone. Instead of jumping into conclusions about, ooh, we have a ghost in our apartment. So the other thing that made me kind of believe that our apartment was haunted was that I had a friend. One of my friends was here at the apartment. And we were just sitting down, listening to music, watching a TV show, having a drink. And obviously I excused myself because I had to go to the bathroom. And I go to the bathroom. I'm sitting on the toilet. I took my phone with me. And I was obviously, as one does, sitting on the toilet scrolling through your phone. And I knew my friend was playing music because he had brought his speaker and I had heard him playing the music in the background. But I was in the bathroom, and all of a sudden, I hear my name clear as day, Eva, in the bathroom. And I'm here thinking to myself, is my friend playing tricks on me? Because this is kind of weird and creepy that my name is being called out very clearly. And so then obviously I get spooked by that, and I end up finishing up my business as fast as I could. And I go to my friend and I ask him, hey, I know you were playing music, but did the music say my name? And he's like, no, it didn't. And then I ask him, did you say my name while I was in the bathroom? And he says no. So by this point, I'm very, very spooked. And it's going to sound embarrassing, y'all, but I was sharing the bed with my roommate in her room because I was so spooked out from all these things. And I honestly just had a lot of anxiety. I still kind of do, but it's going away a little bit. I never thought I would have this much anxiety about moving out, which was really, really funny because, I don't have the best relationship with my family. I don't, and that was a big proponent for me moving out. I don't have the best relationship with my parents. And I thought, I move out, that's it, good riddance, I'm done with you guys. I'm never coming back. And literally last week, I ended up sleeping over at my parents for 2 nights because I was scared to be in the apartment by myself, because my roommate had gone out and had ended up spending the night at her aunt's house. So I didn't want to be in the apartment alone. So I left and I slept over at my parents for 2 nights. And then I went back to my apartment, which I never thought I would be doing that, back and forth. I was going back and forth to feed my cats that are all at my parents' house. But I never thought I would go back and forth because I felt an immense amount of anxiety. I guess I did miss my family, and I guess I did get a little bit scared of just being out on my own. And currently right now, teachers have obviously summers off. We're still getting paid in the summer, which is great, huge blessing to have. I was working summer school for a little bit. We finished summer school last week on Tuesday. So it's been about a week already since I've been not working. I still have a job, by the way, but I volunteered to do summer school, and so that's what I mean by I was still working and doing summer school. So now that I don't have summer school, and my roommate went off to work because she has a regular schedule, it's not like mine. I'm alone at the house. I'm at the apartment, and I'm I don't know what to do with myself. There's things I have to do, but I'm kind of putting them off. So yeah, I cleaned the house yesterday, which was nice. I cleaned the apartment, so now I don't have to worry about that. But I have to do laundry, and I have to figure some things out. So yeah, it's right now I'm in the process of just figuring a lot of things out for myself, with this newfound independence, because I truly am on my own now. It feels good, but it feels scary at times, and I never thought I would again. As someone that always wanted to move out of her house and was tired of living with her parents, I never thought I would feel this much anxiety moving out. I know generally I'm an anxious person, but I don't get super duper duper anxious when it comes to stuff like this. I guess the question I answer would be, was I ready to move out? And the answer to that was probably no, not completely. But if I didn't move out when I did, I would have never moved out. And that's the thing. I think sometimes we have to take those leaps of faith, whether we're ready or not, and just do it. And I don't know what that leap of faith could be for some of you, but for me, it was moving out and being on my own and learning to be on my own and being self-sufficient. And now that I'm doing it, I do feel better. My mental health is a little bit better now. But it's scary out there. But like I keep saying, if I didn't do it when I did it, I think I would have never done it. I would have never taken that leap of faith. I would have never found this place, and I never would have moved out. And I mean, the good thing is I only live like 5 minutes away from my parents. So if I really did need something from them, I could always go back and forth to the house and go get something. But I'm trying not to do that as much because I want to set healthy boundaries with my parents, because I think that's important. And if you are Mexican or Latino or Hispanic, you know that Mexican parents, Hispanic parents, Latino parents, there is no boundaries. It's very, very hard to set boundaries with your parents sometimes. Especially when you think you're going to be living there until you get married, which obviously wasn't the case for me. I just had gotten to a point where I had said I need to move out because this is affecting my mental health, like a lot. Like I said, my relationship with my parents has always been very rocky, very dysfunctional, and I'm not going to get into it. I think that would be a topic for a later episode. But that was like the catalyst for me moving out. It was so that I could get to a better place where I didn't feel this immense amount of depression and anxiety and low self-worth. And you know, I'm not going to sit here and blame my parents, because at the end of the day, I'm also responsible for the way that I choose to feel. And, you know, being 25 years old, obviously I don't have it figured out, but I'm old enough and cognizant enough to make my own decisions about how to best deal with my mental health. And yes, I was going to therapy. I've taken a little break from therapy right now because I wanted to move out and get settled into my apartment. I will be going back soon. So shout out to my therapist if she's listening to this. Yes, I did move out. I have my own place and I'm doing better. We are on the mend to things. That's not to say that yesterday I didn't have a little cry and was crying because I felt lonely about not having many friends in my life. But we're doing better, and hopefully I'm going to go back to therapy very, very, very soon. Because frankly, I still do need it. I think I'll always need therapy, and that's not a bad thing to admit. I think therapy is very, very beneficial, and if I had kids, heck, I would send them to therapy. I mean, I'm one of the biggest advocates for it. I think the most important thing you can do is invest in your mental health. For not just your sake, but for your future self's sake. For in the future, if you want to start a family and have children, to not carry that generational burden of depression and anxiety and trauma. And I think to be foolish is to say that someone is going to fix us. because nothing is going to fix us, but we can heal from the things that have hurt us. We can heal from the things that are keeping us from being our best selves. And one of the ways that I've coped with all this is going through therapy and really doing the inner work within me and realizing that it's okay to not have it all together. And I never want to make it look like I have everything going on for me, everything together. Am I in a good place in my life? I would say yes. But just like everybody else, my mental health comes in waves. And there's times where I'm sitting on my couch and I'm very happy. There's also other times where I'm sitting on my couch and the guilt and the anxiety settles in and I get this immense amount of sadness and loneliness hitting me all at once. And that's okay too. I mean, I'm not here to portray this perfect image of myself, nor do I want to, nor am I perfect. But I want people to relate to what I've gone through and find some sort of comfort in knowing that I am a human just like everybody else. I feel deeply, I think deeply, and that's okay too. So I never want you guys to think that suddenly I'm this healed individual. I think healing, I think people have said this before, but healing is not a once fix all. It's a gradual process. It's not linear either. And I think, the healing is lifelong. It would be foolish to say that just by going to therapy a few times in our life that we are suddenly and magically healed. No, that's what going to therapy is. It's the purpose of being able to figure out, okay, I'm here mentally. I want to be here in a few months or in a few weeks. How do I get there? How do I take those steps to make that progress? And it's okay. We're all on our own healing journeys, and I will hopefully get to a much healthier place soon. And I feel like I'm at a much healthier place already. But hopefully I hope to be more capable soon. What else is new in my life? I mean, I don't know if it's really a secret at this point. I guess if you're one of my friends and you know me personally, you know that... should I bring this up? I kind of wanted to keep this to myself, but I think I've mentioned it a little bit. Shout out to him if he's listening to this, but I've been in a very, very stable and healthy relationship for the last 4.5 months, almost 5 months. Yeah, I have a boyfriend. I've been dating him for the last 4.5 months. And it's been wonderful. He's one of the most understanding and brilliant people I know. And yes, I know you're probably like, you're in love. You're just talking this way. Yeah, part of it. That's part of what it is. I am very much happy and in love, and I'm in the most healthy and stable relationship I've ever been in. And up until this point where I have this amazing relationship, I never thought I was really worthy of love in this sort of capacity, I'm very, very, very grateful to my boyfriend that he's so kind and compassionate and understanding and supporting of my healing journey. And I've expressed to him a lot of my mental health struggles, and he has been very, very helpful and very understanding and compassionate about it. And you have a good relationship, and you have good communication when you're able to sit down with one another and really, really let it out. I mean, I've talked to him about this several times, but it really, really hit me yesterday when I said that I was sitting on my couch and I felt this immense amount of loneliness come over me. And, I told him, like, I feel this way. Like, I'm sad, and this makes me sad, and I don't know what to do about it. And, he talked to me and gave me some good practical advice. And, my boyfriend's very, very practical in the way that he gives advice. And I feel like most men are too. Like, there's not a lot of men who can get very emotional. And it kind of sucks because, a lot of men were conditioned to just keep it bottled up and never really, really talk about their feelings. And I know I'm probably going to get some men on here eye rolling and say, well, we're men, we don't really talk about our feelings. I say bullshit. You should talk about your feelings. If you're feeling what you're feeling and it's weighing down on you, no matter if you're a man or a woman, you should have the right to be able to speak out about it and really let it out. Because I can tell you the joy and the relief that comes from finally letting it out and not carrying that burden with you is amazing. We carry trauma, not just emotionally, we carry it in our bodies as well, and our body feels it too. It's trauma is not only an emotional and psychological response, but it's also a physiological one. And it manifests itself in many, many ways. So I think it's important, and it's a conversation to be had about men letting it out, and I feel like most men won't, just because I think at the end of the day it comes down to a pride issue. Like, oh, we're men, we're supposed to uphold this manliness to us. And it's like, no, I mean, at the end of the day, what I think is so attractive and so amazing is just having someone be themselves unapologetically, whether they're crying into their pillow or they're just an emotional mess, which I tell my boyfriend every chance I get. I'm like, you're dating an emotional mess, right? And he told me yesterday, yes, I know that, but I still love her. I still love you. And that's what's so amazing and remarkable about having a partner that really, really gets you and understands you, and you get to that really, really healthy place in your life. Very much I'm still in the infatuation stage of my relationship. We're very, very much in love, and I don't think we'll ever grow out of that phase. Even being 4 months into it, 4.5 months into it, I'm still as in love with him as when he first asked me out. And I think it'll stay like that for a long time. It's just wonderful being with someone that really loves you for who you are, and you have such a healthy relationship. I mean, I tell him everything. I don't really let anything slide, and he knows when I'm lying, so I can't really hide anything from him because he just knows me so well. And I think it helps so much that we already had a pre-existing friendship before we started dating. And so I think if I have any advice to offer in terms of love, I say date your best friend. But make sure you're best friends and you're good friends before you start dating. I think that is so important. It'll really, really build up the chemistry and not really, really... It'll really, really build up the intimacy, not just an emotional intimacy, not just a physical intimacy, but an emotional one as well. It's very, very important to do that. And to just be honest with one another, like I said, I can't really hide anything from my boyfriend because he sees all and he knows all. Shout out to him if he's listening to this. He has this little comment he always makes about podcasts, and it's that he'd rather experience them in real life, in real time, as they're happening, as they're unfolding. So he always says that about my podcast and all our other friends' podcasts that they have one, which y'all should check it out. It's called The Podcast. As always, I will link it down below in the description of this podcast episode, so y'all can go check it out. My friends Justin and Tavi have these amazing episodes where they talk about literally anything, but they're video game and anime nerds, and they sit and ramble about a lot of stuff at midnight. So if you are a little nerd, you love anime and video games and Japanese stuff, go listen to their podcast. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. Go support them. Check out the link below in my podcast description. It's called The Podcast. Yeah, so go check that out. So, what else is new with my life, y'all? Nothing. I mean, wow. Sometimes I stand here in awe and bewilderment as to how I got here as a person, because, I thought it was going to be ages before I moved out. And, granted, it did take me 25 years to finally move out of my parents' house. But once I did it, it felt very liberating. And at the risk of sounding cheesy and self-obsessed, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud that I took this step. I'm proud that I did it. I'm proud that I'm on my own, and I'm able to see how, yes, it's fun moving out of on my own, but it's also important to see that there is responsibility and there is a standard that I now have to live up to, and that standard is, being responsible with my money, with my time, with how I am as a person. And though I am a fun and free-spirited person, and I'm very rambunctious and very much, what's the word? Spunky, I guess. I still have to maintain this side of me that's also responsible. And I think that's with everything. There's a time and a place to be kooky and funny and spontaneous and spunky, and then there's also a time and place to behave and put on those big boy, big girl pants and make sure you're being responsible with everything. Those are the two biggest life changes I've made in my life. Not really. Yes, kind of changes, I never thought they would both happen at the same time. It was kind of like a double whammy when this happened, and I'm glad I had some good people supporting me through the process. My boyfriend being one of the most proponent people of this whole thing. Shout out to him. Again, if he's listening, I don't think he is, but if he is, babe, I love you, and thank you for pushing me to do better and to take this leap. Couldn't have done it without you. Shout out to my roommate, who's very, very fun to live with. It's fun living on my own. I knew I loved cooking, but I didn't think I would love it this much now living on my own, like getting to make whatever it is I want. And I cook for me and my roommate, and that's always fun because she'll get home from work. She's like, oh, what you cooking? And I'm like, oh, I'm cooking this. And she seems to like my cooking, and I seem to be a very good cook, so no complaints there, except that I sometimes make the food too spicy, but to each their own. What can I say? I'm a spicy girl. I'm a spicy Latina, as my boyfriend calls me. Oops, did I just say that? Yes, I did. Sorry, babe. It's been fun. I mean, I really, really love being able to do things on my own timeline now, and it feels scary, but it feels right. So, what else can I say, guys? I mean, thank you for being on this journey with me. Thank you for coming along on this journey with me, for being patient as to when I'm going to have podcast episodes out. You know, it's been a while, and I take a hiatus every now and then, and sorry that I do that. But I was waiting for the right time, and it finally felt like, okay. I mean, I honestly could have recorded this episode last week. I was just lazy, and I got busy with so many things, and between having friends over and still getting the apartment settled in and still getting myself settled into this apartment, it's been a wild ride. So anyways, without being said, if this number still works, because I don't know if my podcast phone number still works, but in the event that it does, you can always call me and leave me a voicemail telling me what you want me to talk about next on the podcast. If you want to be a guest on the podcast, you can always call this number and leave me a voicemail, or you can also email the podcast email, which I will have that linked below. If you want podcast updates, follow my Instagram and follow the podcast Instagram, where I will be posting updates on when the next podcast episode is up. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I don't know when this podcast episode will go live. I mean, I'm recording it on a Wednesday on my phone, on the Anchor app, because I'm lazy, and the mic that I used to use for this podcast, it's at my house. We'll probably get some new podcast equipment. I mean, that'd be fun. To finally have some good old equipment and a good old mic, and, you know, take this thing up a notch. Yeah, I don't know what the next episode will be about, but hope that you guys are having a beautiful, wonderful day wherever you're at, whatever time of the day you're listening to this. Hope I made you smile. This episode will hopefully go live next Monday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's noon. So around everybody's lunchtime. Yeah. I pray that you guys go forth, prosper, and God bless. Bye, you guys.